Hello, everybody. Welcome to the immense magic of a perfect mastermind. It's kind of silly that we have a title for this, to be honest with you. We were just kind of wanted to come on and chat and share our experience because Cassie started a mastermind last year that was 9 months long that Anna and I joined. And the level of magic and brilliance that came out of this mix of the three of us is something that we want to share with the world, because all of us have been in other containers. I know I've been in a ton of masterminds myself, and they were good. They were good. They were fine, but it was and I learned some things, but coming into this, every single one of us was just mind blown by the synergy between the three of us and how the reflections of what was going on within ourselves and between each other was the first place I know that I felt fully held, fully safe, fully seen, unconditionally, completely me. All the embarrassing raw shit that ever came forward was just here you go. And I was absolutely loved and encouraged through it all. Despite all the human shit and the human sauce we have going on, right? Every single one of us saw each other's hearts fully and souls fully. Intentions fully. And we want you to be able to maximize that experience in your own containers, especially when you're talking about the online space, and not necessarily knowing people face to face in person. So those of you who don't know me, I'm a holistic therapist. My name is Laura Mazzotta and an Akashic Records expert. Cassie, go. Who are you?
Oh, hi. I'm an intuitive business coach for spiritual female entrepreneurs. So I specialize in nervous system and strategy for 6 figures and beyond. And then Anna.
Hi, I'm Anna Jones. I'm the Everything Love Coach, and I specialize in working with people who just want to come back to themselves, who are trying to push away the bad, the ugly, and there is no such thing. We come and integrate all of it. So I'm excited to be sharing all of the things as much as we can here in a short amount of time.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes so that you guys have a nice, efficient replay, but we're going to do our best. Okay. So I want you to start, Cassie, with talking about the intention of a mastermind, because I think it's really important for people to understand. I know that when I first started being guided toward masterminds, it was more okay, I want to learn this, or I want to do that, and really the way you describe it is exactly what happened in this container. So go.
Yeah. I think if you're planning on creating a mastermind or joining a mastermind, they're different than courses or group coaching programs, because you're not learning a specific skill set. You're really joining based on the frequency calibration. So whenever I start a mastermind, I think, what's the intention of this mastermind? It will take you crazy places in a mastermind. So you may start out with one intention and you end up in a totally different place at the end, kind of like we did. But it feels like we went through a whole birthing process, which 9 months is a birth. So it worked out. But set a strong intention, because it's more so, a mastermind is more so about frequency calibration. The intention is very consciously held by the person hosting it and everybody else. And then you really calibrate to that intention, because intention always creates its own fulfillment. So if you create a mastermind and you're my intention for this mastermind is to come into wholeness, really start to accept those parts of me that I'm ashamed of, then that is what will carry out and go through in the mastermind. So, and that's something that you mentioned at the beginning that I think is really powerful, is we can only hold as much space for others as we hold for ourselves. And I think that's why our group was so good, because we are pretty fucking good space holders for ourselves. Yeah. So then when we came in the mastermind, we increased our capacity to hold even more, because we're kind to ourselves and we don't judge we're not perfect, right? But I feel like it's easy for me to have you come in and say anything and not judge you, because I feel like I can come in and say anything and not judge myself.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. And I think that's exactly what I joined it for, was just you, right? I just joined it for you, had nothing to do. I could have given a shit about the content. I could have given a shit, right? It was about you. And I think that's what's so important for people to understand is it's not about the content. It has nothing to do with the content. It's do you mesh with this person? Would you want to go get coffee with them? Like, would you say, come on over with your kids? Like, if you feel it's a level of comfort and like family that you feel with somebody, like the ability to identify, that's really about following that pull to go in, even if you're like, I don't know if I fucking care about this content and what it's going to do for me, but I know I want to be in her field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just, every mastermind I've been in is really, I didn't really know what the content was. There's usually not a program involved. So I'm like you, I'm like, I don't really know what we're focused on, but I'm in, like, I want to be in it. You just know, what about you, Anna?
I think I'm with Laura. I think at one point I was just like, I want more, because Laura and I were kind of funneled into the mastermind from this other program as Detached to Receive.
Yeah.
Which was like an 8-week program, or like a shorter program, no? And so I think for me, it was just like, I want more of this. I want more of this energy. And then when, I think Laura and I vibed, real quick off of each other once we were in the smaller container, that I was just like, how great would it be to just like continue being in this space with these women? And I agree. I have joined programs because of people's energy. I don't really know what it's about. I don't necessarily go on their profiles. I don't really do a lot of research. I just, go off of the energy and go off of the vibe. And I think that what we experienced is truly unique. And, even though I consider myself to be a person that just feels that they are the way that they are wherever they go, I think that there are some people that definitely amplify this beingness.
Yeah. And that's that synergy I was talking about too, because it's like, we all have different gifts, right? But I think what we have in common is this connection to who we are, this connection to spirit, in addition to, like, we don't beat around the bush. We don't
No.
We don't beat around the bush, and we don't fuck around. Like, we're go-getters. Like, we got our eye on not a prize, but like on forward movement, right? Like, we're movers and shakers. But so we're not wasting any fucking time. And I know that that's how we all coach people too, right? It's like, we get to hold people tenderly, but it's also like, I'm also not going to hesitate and telling you, this is what I fucking see. Like, this is what I see. This is what we need to dive into. Right. And I think that it's so refreshing, because that's a level of honesty and directness that, even if it feels like, oh, like I would say, like, fuck you. And I needed to hear that. Thank you. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's being able to hold that. And I think even at one point we had a trigger. That's one of the things we wanted to talk about too. Like, we had a trigger in our mastermind, and it was, of course that's going to happen. Like, you're connecting with other humans, and it's being in a space with people who are so soul aligned. When you quote unquote trigger each other, all it is it's an invitation from the universe to say, like, hey, this was brought up in both of your fields to learn something. This was brought up in both of your fields to show you something that you need to look at, and coming at it from a space of not blame or I feel this way and you did me wrong or something like that, but instead just talking about, like, what is this inviting us into, both of us, and how can we help each other grow through it, so that, because, and the beautiful part is, like, when you have that foundation of just unconditional love and positive regard and acceptance for each other, like, the intentions, who each other are, that this is so solid. And then when anything comes up, it's just like, yeah, we get to rely on that. We get to hold each other. Like, of course it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other thoughts on that part?
I think that I like that you said foundation of positive regard. I think that's so important for people. Like, if you don't have a foundation of positive regard for your client, refer them out, because they deserve to work with somebody who has absolutely positive regard for them. You may not agree on everything. You may be triggered. You may be pissed, but at the end of the day, you have a positive regard for them. You know what I mean? Like, that's foundational. It's just so important. So I like that you mentioned that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Anna. Were you going to say something?
Oh, no. Yeah. I was just going to like piggyback off of what Cassie was saying. Yeah. I hadn't really ever thought about that. Having the someone on a positive regard, but I think you're right. And to be honest, I think that those are something like the triggers, right? I think that this is something that was really interesting to me, but it's definitely helped me in the long run, especially like, as I move forward, I was like, I don't want to say or do things in the past that I've said and done, because I think it's this cycle. And this is like me personally, like I have this thing with guilt that like it takes me longer to forgive myself than it actually takes the other person to forgive myself. And so I think that there is a part of me that hasn't forgiven myself for the trigger in the container, which is just like, whatever, welcome to my life. But yeah, it's really beautiful to just be like, well, thank you for calling me out, and thank you for saying how you felt, and thank you for telling me that how you received what I said it was just not, I don't want to say nice, because nice is so whatever, but it's just like, it just felt like it could have been a lot more intentional, so I appreciate like being called out in terms of like, where's the intentionality behind your comment? Like, what is the purpose, right? And a lot of times I think we do things, and speaking in my case personally, we say things for ourselves, right? Because, like we have certain beliefs, and we have certain ways of thinking, and we have certain like ways of seeing the world, but that doesn't mean that like we have to impose that on other people. That's just the way we live our lives. And so I think that to be in a group, that I'm not talking about like we have nothing in common being in a group, right? Because then it just feels awkward and weird. Yeah. But like, there's so many beautiful things that we have in common that it's like, it's obvious that there are going to be some things that we don't necessarily agree on. And that's where like the beauty comes in, because there's a lot of acceptance. There's a lot of, I love you, and it's cool that we don't have to think the same way. Like it would be, it's ridiculous, but I think I sometimes fall into that space of like, wait, not everybody thinks like me. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful reminder of just like, hey, like it's okay. And I love you, even though you don't think the way that I do. And we can still be, friends, soul sisters, whatever. And I think that was just something that I found really, really beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And, this has even come up in my retreats a little bit too. You have 12 women that are together for 5 days concentrated doing intense, deep healing work. Like shit's going to fucking fly, right? Like it's going to come up. And so it's like, it comes up and it's like, good. Like, but every person there is, what is this? Like this person who triggered you is in service, right? They are providing a service to bring forward an energy that was meant to activate you, so that you are now activated to look at saying, okay, like this is arriving for me in a way that that I was meant to be activated. I'm meant to be shifting, right? And so when we really allow that to not be about the other person, not be about the situation, don't put any meaning to it, understanding labels, nothing, right? It's just being curious about, oh, wow, like this energy is here for me. Like this energy is here to move me. And so I would sit with these women and I would just say, like, where are you being invited to move? And typically it's being invited into a higher level of leadership of yourself, a higher level of sovereignty, a higher level of personal ownership and confidence and knowing who you are. Right. But that's really how I see them, for sure. And I think anytime you're in a group setting, particularly for a concentrated period of time, that's the reason that it's so effective to be in group containers long-term. And I know people shy away from that. At first I shied away from that. I was like, I fucking hate group programs. I hate them. I'm not doing them. Right. I like one-on-one. I was safe, but it's those reflections that really help you grow, because the fact is we're humans in this world interacting with other humans. Like shit's going to come up.
Yep. I always like what Wayne Dyer said. He said, when you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. So when someone squeezes you, whatever comes out is what's in you. And so that's why when you join a group container or a mastermind, like you're going to just be prepared. You're going to be triggered, but it's such a gift. You'll navigate it beautifully and you'll step into even higher levels of sovereignty. And you'll be like, oh, look, that was in me. And I'm so glad it came out. And now I can look at it and be with it and love on it. So
Well, and I think that when we talked about like that foundation of positive regard, I think one of the reasons that that was so helpful, well, not just helpful, but so effective and solid with us is because there was no hierarchy in our container at
Yeah,
all.
that's really important to me. I've been in containers where there's so much, by the person leading it, there's so much airs of I'm the leader, and they feel like they can't let their walls down. And so I don't feel like it's super relatable. It doesn't feel safe. It feels
Yeah.
like I'm always being judged. Everything I say is somehow wrong. It just feels weird. It just feels weird to me. And so yes, I'm leading the space, but I don't think that being a leader means that you are above people. That's not what it means. It's more like a circle versus like a,
Yes.
a pyramid. So it's really important
Yeah.
to me, and it means the world to me that you guys felt that way, because you can be a leader of a space without having to put on this protective armor and be like, I'm in charge and I'm above everybody. Like, I
Yeah.
don't have any interest in doing that.
No, I mean, there was just such a beautiful exchange among all three of us, and it was just being able to be that raw and authentic, because that's what I do in my containers. That's what I do with my clients. I'm very, very raw about, yeah, this is what's come up for me too. And this is what I just recently alchemized, and if we're drawn to share our story, we're drawn to share our story. And I listen to the energy first and foremost. And so I love that, because it wasn't this like, Anna and I coming in and kind of bringing something up. It was more like we were all just connecting and convening around the table around it.
Yeah.
It felt very collaborative. It felt like we had partners with each other to just dive into whatever was coming up in the space.
Yeah.
And also, whenever you're in a container, whatever other people are going through, odds are you are going through that as well. So I think with us, it was very, very, it was such a like beautiful, hilarious, obvious synchronicity, right? Of like, oh, I'm going through this. Well, duh, of course I'm going through this as well. So I think that was also very beautiful, just being able to be like, I know that no matter what I'm gonna put in the container or what I'm gonna share, like it'll help, someone else as well. It'll like, even if it just like bounces off something to them, like you're adding value when you share something. And I think that's what a lot of people like don't understand, that when you share with other people, that just opens up a lot more space to have the conversation around it. And that is so healing, because I was talking to a friend the other day and we were talking about sex, right? Strange. Never talk about sex. Hate it. Never talk about it. And she said something that I was like, whoa, like I had never thought, like I consider myself being a very like open and just like very like expressive person, but there's some things that still I think are programmed to just like not be shared, because I still have these beliefs of like, why is this happening just to me? Right. So when she brought it up, I was like, fuck, like, thank you for saying that, because it just never crossed my mind. So I think that this is the beauty of being in these, like these spaces and these containers, like we are contained. And when you are contained as a human being, you feel like you don't have to be in survival mode. Like you can actually just like just sit and rest and just release whatever is coming up. So I think that is a huge, huge value. And I also think that not everyone is good at holding space. So just because you're going into a mastermind or a group program or whatever does not mean that you're going to get the results that like we got. I think that this is something like, and I don't want to be like, oh, like this is just like us, but I think that this is like a very like personal and individual thing when you find people that are highly intentional and that are very, very, very aware of like the energy that they're bringing in, how they're coming into the space, the vibe that they want to create for the container. I think that is really important. I think people still don't understand the power of a powerful container.
Yeah. I didn't fully understand it until this experience. And I've been in many, many masterminds, and I've gotten, like I said, I've gotten things out of them, but I didn't understand how, I mean, it's exactly what you described at the beginning, Cassie. Like it just elevated me into a version of myself. And I think whether we're talking about group programs or masterminds or one-on-ones, I think that it's ultimately about the relationships, right? And so it's like Anna was saying, you know, any kind of areas that you feel like hiding, speaking about shame dissolves it, right? Speaking about any of that dissolves it. And so whoever you're sharing with, it's you being able to have a safe space in human form,
Yeah.
We all know we have that in spiritual form, but in human form, to be able to just, what I always say is like, admit to yourself, like, what are you not admitting to yourself? What are you not admitting to other people that you believe or that you desire, that you want, you know? And I think that being able to feel so safely held in a space that, again, is not just like a one-time thing or a few times, like it's long enough term that you really get to know each other. Because like you said, Cassie, like we went through multiple freaking rebirths during this 9 months together, like multiple rebirths. We saw all fucking sides of each other, every single side, you know, and it was just amazing and so refreshing to jump into the Voxer and have like, oh my God, this is so great. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so excited. You know, just being able to like
all over. Yep.
To witness the very normal, beautiful roller coaster of being human, and like it's all gorgeous, and we get to witness that process in each other and just feel so validated and so like, I see you, sister, I believe in you. And that's the other thing, we believe in each other so much.
Yeah.
And I think also too, when you believe in someone, I learned a lot of things, right? I have a Cassie quote notepad, and Laura has some archives there. But I think one of the things, I know that one of the things that I got was like, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. I got excited. And then I just thought, oh, okay.
I had $1. We do this all the time.
That we were just like one moment, you know, like very, like we were able to like ride the wave of emotions, like just ride it out. There was no like containing. There was nothing. Like I felt like sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't know what to do with me, because I will literally feel everything. Like I'm angry and I'm just like, I want to be pissed right now. I don't want you to tell me anything. I don't want you to tell me that it's going to be okay. I don't want you to tell me to be grateful. I don't want, like, fuck that. Like, I just want to be pissed. And then, you know, 3 hours later, I'm like, hey, what's up? Okay, so I moved through my anger and now I'm here, you know? So it's just like, I never felt like I had to explain myself. I never felt like I had to be like, okay, just so you know, like, it's okay. Like I was angry before, but like now it's all good. And like, you know, I think I'm going to be a little bit sad later. I feel the sadness coming. So just FYI, it's like, no, it was just like, I'm sad. I'm good. Like, I'm happy. I'm content. I'm satisfied. I'm pissed. What the fuck? Like, it was just all of these things where we just got to be really, really raw. And that is so, like, refreshing is an understatement. It's just like to not have to explain yourself all the time and to just take up space and to be like, this is how I'm feeling. I don't have to explain myself. How amazing is this? I think it just, it does not, I don't think you can put any like the price on that. I just think it's priceless.
Yeah. Now I'm curious from both of you guys, and you can answer honestly. Was there any point in the 9 months, because 9 months is pretty long. Every program I've joined is usually a year. I'm like all into big, long commitments for some reason, but 9 months is pretty long. And so usually when I join a container that's like a year or 9 months, there is a point where I'm like, I'm out. Like I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm not interested. I lose excitement. I lose, like, you know what I mean? Did that happen at any point? Because I feel like that's so normal. And just know that if you're listening and you're thinking of joining a longer container, there's going to be ebbs and flows in my experience when I've been in containers where I'm like, you know, not into it this week. I don't want to be in here. I'm I'm irritated. I need alone time. I need space. And then, you know, the next week I'm like, oh my God, I'm right back in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in every container I've ever been in, I have felt that way. Where about halfway through, I'm like, I'm fucking done. And I think that's also because I'm just a very, very rapid integrator. Like shit comes up and I just fucking do it. And I am like, okay, complete, done, intention achieved, you know?
Yeah.
This is the first time, no, I've never felt that way. But I also feel that the space was so relaxed that when it had nothing to do with the space, but there were times when every single one of us, particularly me and Anna, would take more of like a quiet 5 days or a quiet week, right? Where it's just like, you know, I got shit I'm moving through. And you know what? But that was never questioned. It was just around, I desire to go within. I'm integrating right now. I'm cultivating. I'm organizing in me because I desire to lead myself. And I want to alchemize this myself because that gives me sovereignty. And then I want to come in and share it with you rather than processing it alongside of you. You know, but that was my decision. There was never a point that I wanted out ever.
Yeah. I don't think that I felt that I wanted out. I felt that I was just going through my shit. Same, Laura. Like I would have thoughts about, but just like I have thoughts about every single person, like what the fuck, like, you know, just thoughts. And I would just like with stories would come in. And when I would like get triggered silently, I would just like retrieve. I'd be like, oh gosh, I don't want to bring this in the container. And so I would take it outside and then I would like, you know, that's also like a little bit of just like the people pleaser in me. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to disturb others. But I think sometimes I don't have to, you know, process everything out loud and like drag people into my process. I think that just sometimes, I don't know. I think that's none of their business.
Yeah.
You know, that's my business. So I don't recall like saying like, I'm done. I think I wanted more time. I just knew it was going to look differently. And, you know, I was a little afraid of being rejected, but then I talked to Laura and we were like, we still want to be together. It's just I think it just looks differently. So I'm glad, you know, that we were able to like connect and share. And, you know, you were so open and just be like, yeah, like this never feels like work. This just feels like awesome. Like I'm just talking to my friends and we're just catching up. And I just think it was beautiful. And I think that if you're able, I think all three of us are really, you know, kind of like, we had the maturity, I want to say, like the maturity of like, holding ourselves accountable, being able to know when to process in the container, when to take some time and process outside of the container. I think we just had a good flow, like for a lack of a better fucking word, right? But like, it's like flow. But like it really was that energetic exchange of like we knew it was like it felt very natural. It didn't feel forced. It was just like it was like a dance, like just moving in and out, going in, coming back. Yeah.
Beautiful. So we actually have to close up because Cassie has a call, right? You have to head up.
I can stay on for a few minutes, but
okay. So let's just go around and, well, actually, let me ask you really first, Cassie, since you don't have to jump off immediately, which is, did you at some point in the 9 months be like, okay, this is good. We're good.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like the best container.
Fuck these bitches, I'm done.
No, it was probably the best container I've ever run. And I've run a lot of containers and a lot of program and a lot of things that were great. And this is probably my favorite. Yeah. And it's something that happened so organically. I literally created the container on intuitive hit and I just kind of listened to it for a couple of days. And I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I just put it out there. I was like, who's interested? And it just worked out perfectly. So no, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So because we're the best. So if there's one thing that people would come to you for to connect with each of us afterwards, if they feel aligned with any of our energy, what is the one thing they would come to you for, Cassie?
Why don't I say what they would come to Anna for?
Okay.
And Anna can say with it, you know what I mean? Because this
is a good idea. That's a good idea.
Because this is what I see in you guys after working together. I would go to Anna if you're like, number one, you want to learn how to navigate emotions without shame. With like, just navigate them with pure, I don't even know the word, like feminine. What's the fucking word? Like, you are just so emotional in the best way. Like, that's such a fucking compliment. You know, as somebody who's had to teach myself how to feel, literally, I had to teach myself what emotions were and how to feel them. It's so fucking cool being with somebody who's like, all of my emotions are okay, and I'm going to ride the wave of all of them. And you're really, really amazing at that. So anybody who's like, I really want to learn how to process emotions, love myself, really work through them without shaming myself, that is like your bread and butter. And I think anybody would be blessed to work with you in any capacity, but especially if they want to work on those things.
Oh, that got a few little tears out with me.
Good job, Cassie.
Well, you know, because I think that this is like our life's work. I really do think that this is like what we teach, and what we're the best at is what we have tried to master for ourselves, or what we've, you know, I don't think we ever master, you know, 100%, because, you know, the waves keep on coming, but, okay.
Wait, I have to go now. I have to give to you again. Now I have to tell people too, Anna. I have to tell people why I would think they would come to you. I think they would come to you because one of the things that I always look forward to is I know that I'm always going to get the most direct, straight, honest, grounded, loving answer directly from you. You do not beat around the bush at all. You say it exactly how it is. And it's always coming from a really loving, grounded, like principled, solidly valued place. Like it's just all for like human goodness. And like, you're so devoted to being a good human and to serving humans, and like from your heart. And so it's like, I know that you're going to give me a really level-headed, like grounded from love. Here you go. Right there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I pride myself in that. So I'm glad that you see it. Thank you. That means a lot to me. Okay. So Cassie, you have to go, right? So we'll do you.
This is humiliating. You guys know that I don't. Why don't I recommend this? I hate people complimenting me to my face. You guys know this. I'm just gonna go like this.
I mean, not to like put this out there in your face, but you started this.
I know, and now I'm like, God, this is humiliating. This is
you started this.
I'll take up space. I will practice receiving.
Be seen. Be seen.
Yes, be seen. I think if you want to find someone who is just like, you're in this space of, first of all, like personally, you were everything that I ever wanted in a coach. Like you were that like unicorn, you know, because I was like, I'm tired of the strategy. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the hustle. I'm tired of the like ads and like all of these things, all of the steps. And I was like, I want someone who will just tell me that it gets to be easy. I want someone that tells me that like all these things, right? And I know that that's what I found in you. You just find this way of like normalizing everything, and like everything that you desire is available to you. And so finding you personally gave me like that confirmation, and that like, yeah, it was just the remember, like what you desire is available to you. And I think that it might sound small because it's like a one-liner, but to me, that is everything. That is like everything, because sometimes, even though I feel helpless at times, I'm like, no, like I can't, like there's this little piece of like faith, right? There's this little like piece of like a little glitter of faith that's just like, no, don't give up just now. Don't give up just now. And then boom, you appeared. No, and then boom, something else happened. And so I think that for people who are like, there has to be a better way. Like you're just so good at that. You're so good at like breaking like paradigms and just being like, no, like you can have it your way, and it gets to be your way or even better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. And I would say it's multi-layered, of course, but it's like that perseverance, right? That perseverance, that really what's underneath that is just like, cultivating an unwavering belief in yourself, right? That, since I was able to do that under your care is how I feel. Cause I feel like I was cared for and held. I was able to persevere because I was able to develop that unwavering belief. And just from an energetic perspective, like I just feel, and I've told you this before, but you're very maternal. And I feel like you see me and believe in me.
Oh, don't make me cry.
I know.
You guys, this is turning into a big love fest. And everybody watching is going to be like, these bitches need to get it.
I forget that we're recording.
In a way that I have never, like, you have seen every fucking facet, and it's literally, you are the most loving human being, one of the most loving human beings I've ever met. Like, to be able to see all the fucking shit that we brought through, right? And it's just like, nope, I believe in you. I don't give a shit what comes out of your mouth. I don't care how you're feeling. I love you. I believe in you, and I'm holding you. And it was just this unwavering, maternal, loving, at the same time as like directive, kick in the ass energy, right? Like it was both, but it was just very maternal. So.
Oh, thank you. What a compliment. Being told you're maternal is such a compliment to me. It feels
it is
gooey.
It is.
It's a good one. Okay, now we got to do Laura, and then everybody can.
And then we'll close. Okay.
Anna, you go first.
No, I feel like Laura is like that background that she has. It's just like, like I'm glad you changed it back, because you had the golden one that was nice. But I feel like that, like, you're just like this, like, whole, like, universe. I don't even know if I have the words to, like, to tell people, like, one specific thing, because I feel like you I can't think of the word in English, but you cover so many realms, and you're just like very so in Spanish it's abarcar, englobar, so like a globe, you just like wrap around so many things, and so many things, and it's like the perspective that you have sometimes it's just like, holy shit, like you like send me out into that galaxy that you're in, that you have in the background, right?
like flying in space.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm flying in space when I talk to you. I'm like, where are all these things coming from? Like, what the fuck? Like, you're super intuitive, like so fucking intuitive, and like, I know that you right now, like the Akashic records is like your forte. So I think that, like, if people want to go like deeper into the Akash, like deeper into the realms of their mind, I think that that's what I would tell people. But it's just, I feel like you're a fucking trip in the best way, like a trip around the galaxy. Like there's so much. But like
in such a grounded way, though. So
yes.
It's so grounded. Yes. It's interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Maria says she's so cosmic. That's so true.
Yes.
Like, yeah, like, and it's wild because the background of my phone is a card pull that I did like months ago that was about me really fully identifying as a multidimensional being. And I have it in the background of my phone because I want to remember every single day that I am a multidimensional being. Like I am not just a human being. Like I live in all the dimensions for sure. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge compliment. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I love it.
Okay. I would say work with Laura. If you, number one, God, there's so much to say for both of you guys. Like, I would say number one, if you want like straightforward mind fuck answers to anything you're struggling with. Like if I went to Laura and I was like, this is going on in my business, and like, I don't know what to do, I'm lacking clarity. She can give you clarity and like the best, most mind-bending way where you're like, holy shit, I did not even see that way, but you're so right. Or if you want to be really inspired by a badass, because you up level and integrate shit like you're like, oh, this is happening. And then literally like the next day you're like, oh, I integrated that yesterday. Like we're good. And my other favorite line in the mastermind was Laura would always come in and be like, oh my God, yesterday was like horrible. It was like like she's going on about something that was really challenging. And she'll be like, it was fucking awesome. You guys, the way I up-leveled through this and integrated this is fucking good. So the worst thing can happen. And she'll be like, and it's so amazing.
But she goes, but I got this, right? Because I'm a champ. I'm a fucking boss. And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, you are.
I love it. And then also if you want to open up spiritually, like if you really want to open up your field spiritually, your intuitive powers, you have definitely opened up some in me that were intense. It was intense.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it's like it needed to be opened, and you were a great person to help me do that. So yeah.
Thank you guys. Yay! This was such a fun exercise, Cassie. Look what you got yourself into.
I know.
Oh my God.
Yes.
All right, dudes. So recap, touch base with us. If you
recap, we're awesome.
Recap, we're fucking great. Focus on relationships.
We're totally humble.
Yes. Focus on relationships. Notice the reflections that come from other people in your world or in your containers, and notice that they're all the orange juice coming out of squeezing the orange, like Cassie said.
I love that.
And reach out to any of us. As you can tell, we're very casual, we're chill, we're just human beings that are just making our way through human life and making it the best it can be. And we always come back to laughter. We always come back to joy. We always are able to find that thread of lightness in the human experience, despite all the shit that we might tread through. Right. And we're here for all of it. We're here to hold all of it. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here.
Love you. Thank you, Laura.
Love you.
If you want to connect with me, my Instagram is Cassie Biltz. And then Anna, share how they can connect with you.
Oh, yes. Anna C. Jones G. We'll just write it in the comments. No, it'll be easier.
Cool. Yeah. Share links in the comments. Sounds good. And you guys know where to find me because we're here. So there we go. All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Yay. Thank you. Bye, guys.